Hello, and welcome to another uncomfortable opinion. Gonna jump into a fun topic, something that I've researched probably since I was about my oldest son's age, and that is dun 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 Bigfoot. Yeah, a little more lighthearted, and again and I know a lot of people are like, oh, Bigfoot's not real. You're crazy for believing it. Maybe, but I'm gonna bring up some questions that people have asked me. I mean, bring up answers that I have, a little bit of background in these things too, so that way it's kind of level playing field to get everybody's kind of thought process stirring on it, and hopefully you can enjoy this video. Have I ever had an encounter with Bigfoot? No, but I have had an encounter with something, but that's a totally different video. So, Bigfoot, one of the most common questions when I try to get people talking about it, they're like, well, why hasn't anybody shot one and killed it and what have you? Well, bullets are made of lead. Lead's a softer metal. And if you know really anything getting into detail about animals, especially wild animals, that they have different ones have different thickness and hide. Specifically, things like boars and bears get thicker hides to where you can shoot them with higher caliber rifles and even higher caliber pistols, higher caliber, and the bullet, since it's lead, it will get stuck in that layer of hide. So essentially like a layer of fat underneath the fur. Example of this is my dad went on boar hunts when I was a child, and we got the heads of them at his house, and even I think a full body mount over there. When the boars were skinned out for the mounts, they found other like 308 rounds and things inside the hide of the boar. My brother did big game guide for a little while out in Montana and a little bit in Colorado, and he was explaining to me that there's grizzly bears out there, and it's that their average bone is thicker than your femur. So you've got a big bone creature, and then they have a really thick hide that you've got to have an extremely big rifle to bring one of these things down. So something like your normal hunting rifles just aren't going to do it, especially with lead rounds, because you can literally get the lead rounds stuck in this creature's hide. And especially if it is in the Pacific Northwest, you're going to have a thicker hide creature, because that's a very cold climate, and that's why the grizzly bears and the bears have thicker hides out there, because it helps insulate them to keep them warm. So essentially the same would be true with the Bigfoot. And also, let's say somebody used more of a full metal jacket round with a much larger rifle and was able to kill one. What do you think would happen if, let's just say, you or me, you see a Bigfoot, you kind of like, oh my God. First off, there's a level of shock that you're gonna experience once you first see one of these things in the wild, because you're gonna be like in total disbelief. Say you pop that shot off and you tag him and he goes down. The odds are you're gonna have to clean your britches, bring your sense together, and then try to go find where you shot this thing at. And then by that time, there's gonna be enough time that good chance it's gonna be gone. And you're like, well, how's it gonna be gone? Well, one, you might not have killed it, but if you did kill it, why do you think it was alone? Just normal ape behavior, rather it's gorillas, chimpanzees, baboons, anything of this nature, they always travel in groups, travel in troops, I think it's called. So just because you see one, it doesn't mean that it's alone. It just means that's the one that's getting your attention, and the other ones that you don't see could very easily take the deceased one away. Now, another one is that people say, well, why don't you see dead Bigfoots on the road? Well, my thought process on this is, again, if you've studied into apes at all, you would know that apes are a higher thinking creature of the animals. It doesn't matter like what you say about evolution or anything. Animals are all intelligent in their own right. They all do things that help keep them alive and keep them safe. And it doesn't matter if it's from the smallest, dumbest creature that you think it is to the biggest, smartest creature. They're all very intelligent for their environments. And one of the things that you have to realize is here you have creatures that would live in the wild their entire life. Anything different that does not blend, that doesn't coexist in their environment, is going to stand out like a neon sign. Now, granted, let's say if it interrupts a migration path or a food source or something like that, would they have to cross the road? Probably, and there are evidence, or maybe it depends what you call evidence, but there is documented footage, like from a highway patrolman seeing one crossing the street in front of his car a little ways up. It's a very interesting video, but for them to be hit by a car, you're talking about something that's been described to be anywhere from 8 to 12 feet tall, several hundred pounds, maybe even pushing the weight of like a grizzly bear up to 1,000 or so pounds. The car's not gonna do much damage to it unless it's an absolute, like a semi or something like that, because these things have always been described as being strong. And that's why you're not gonna find any on the side of the road, because first off, they're big, they're intelligent, and they're strong, by all reports. Then you have the question of, oh, I had it on the tip of my tongue here. Now, you have another question of why aren't there really any good videos of them? Or there's all sorts of camera trails. Why don't you see any of them on the camera trails? This goes to the same thought process of something that lives in the wild all of its life. Anything that's put out, it's gonna have a scent and it's gonna look different. And something else, since these creatures are so elusive, that we don't know what light spectrum they can see in. And if you're familiar with trail cams, they run off infrared. Infrared light is just a spectrum of light that we cannot see, but it still illuminates the area in front of it. So let's say you got these trail cams set up and you think it'd be the perfect area, you've got this food or what have you out, and there's nothing comes in front of it. There's nothing that you can see that catches the picture, like there's no Bigfoot that goes in front of that trail cam, and it's because they see the infrared light. It's very likely they can see it, and so they're like, oh, I'm not going that way, because they can see this shining this way or something along those lines. Now, granted, there are lots of evidences with Bigfoot where people find footprints, there's people that find hair, there's people that have their own sightings of seeing things out in the woods and what have you. And now, out of all these reports, you could honestly say, all right, a majority of them are lying. That's fair, but then that still leaves a percentage of people who aren't lying. And what did they see? And when people say, oh, they mistaken something for a bear, they've mistaken it for this, I think a lot of that goes to us insulating our own brains to help protect us from being terrified when we go in the woods of a predator who's bigger than us, who we can't see, and could eat us or do whatever they wanted with us just because. And that's kind of like my short and skinny on this topic, but I've got a lot more to talk about on it, honestly. But I just want to know what your thoughts are. What do you think of Bigfoot? Is it real? Is it fake? Is Bigfoot only one species, or is there other subspecies of Bigfoots that live in different areas? Are there other cryptids that we don't know about? And my opinion is yes to all of them. But I want to hear from y'all. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to touch back on cryptids again eventually. I just thought it'd be a fun way to jump into it. But again, I hope everybody can be better than what they were the day before. And just God bless and peace be with y'all.